and that gets the melting pot started. Yeah, so this is a community, a population where many are of mixed ancestry and where everyone living in the Hawaiian Islands is a minority. There's no one ethnic group constituting a majority. So it kind of doesn't really matter what you look like out here. Kind of easy to fit in. Alright, so we got the Hamakua Sea Cliffs out your left. They're from anywhere from like 200 to 400 feet tall. Up ahead you see much taller sea cliffs. That's where Kohala begins, that's where the valleys begin. A series of valleys ahead that open up onto the east side of Kohala. The outer two valleys are accessible by road, the inner valleys are not. Hardly anybody gets to see them. Yeah, the most beautiful part of the island that goes largely unseen.
Baby, let's cruise away from here.
But yeah, the outer two you can drive to and see on your own. Have any of you guys been to either Waipio or Pololu valleys? No? Alright. Well, if you really enjoy what you see up here, remember you can go back if you want to visit the two outermost. Pololu's on the far side. You can hike down into that valley. The road will take you to an overlook, awesome views, and then a not too difficult hike. Maybe 20-30 minutes in, maybe 30 to 45 minutes out. Great views and also a beautiful black sand beach. All the beaches up here at the valleys will be black sand. If you have a four-wheel drive vehicle, instead you might want to consider visiting Waipio Valley. It's the one valley you can drive into, but a four-wheel drive is absolutely necessary. The road in is incredibly steep, narrow, and winding. I mean, it is some kind of adventure. A bit nerve-wracking driving in and out, but it's worth it. Waipio Valley is probably the most beautiful spot on the island you can get to without too much trouble. And Waipio has the longest black sand beach in the state. I'm not sure which is worse, driving in, going down, or driving out. I'll tell you, when I drive out, I almost find myself standing up and leaning over the steering wheel. It's so steep, it feels like my front tires on my truck are going to pick up off the road. And it's as if shifting my weight forward will keep the two tires down. It's that kind of road. Sometimes the locals will hang out at the top though, and they'll offer for a price to drive you down and bring you out again. That's an option too. Of course you can walk in and out, but that's going to be a hell of a walk. If you want to walk, I'd say you're better off going to Pololu Valley on the west side. A lot easier. Yeah, we're coming in from the east side. We're going to see Waipio first. Now, sometimes you might hear people refer to Waipio as the Valley of the Kings. Yeah, back in the days when the Hawaiians lived among these valleys, Waipio is where many of the Hawaiian royalty had homes. A period of time when the Hawaiians lived among the valleys, a period of time when nobody lived in the valleys, after a couple of big tsunamis in the last century. Just pulverized the area. You'll see how the low-lying valley floor is very, very vulnerable to tsunami waves. Today we have a pretty sophisticated tsunami warning system. So now if there's a potential for a tsunami, we usually get a pretty good heads up. And for that reason, I guess, a small group of people has chosen to once again make their homes in Waipio. But it's a definite lifestyle choice. They're living off the grid for the most part in Waipio. Yeah, living with, for the most part, without electricity, running water, or phone lines. Because people live in Waipio, we won't fly in or out of it. We'll just look at it from offshore with turns. We'll fly into, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Is that the longest black sand beach?
Yep, right down there at your 11 o'clock. Don't worry, Lori, I'm going to show it out your side as well.
Thank you. I'm not worried.
Welcome to Kohala.
I walk the maze of moments, but everywhere I turn to begins a new beginning, but never finds a finish. I walk to the horizon, and there I find another. It all seems so surprising, and then I find that I know.
You'll see a scattering of homes in the valley floor and some big wet fields. Those are fields of taro. Taro is a plant brought out here by the early Polynesians. It's what the Hawaiians used to make poi. And poi is a mainstay of the traditional Hawaiian diet.
Scott, wasn't that a waterfall behind us over to the left?
Yeah. We're gonna see a bunch. I'm not gonna talk about every one though. You're gonna see a whole bunch more along the cliffs in front of you.
Do you like poi?
Nope. Do you?
No.
Yeah, it's an acquired taste. I do love Hawaiian food, but poi I'd put at the bottom of that list. If you didn't grow up eating it, you probably won't like it, and I have heard many times anyone who claims to love poi is either Hawaiian or just lying to you. For what it's worth, they said the best poi in the islands comes from here, Waipio Valley. There's the road I was telling you about, Far Valley Wall. Steepest paved public road in the United States. And look at that beautiful black sand beach.
When did a tsunami last hit?
1960. That was a biggie. Another big one in 46. The west side got hit by a tsunami after the Japan earthquake, but it was pretty minor. Nothing at all like what was experienced on the east side in 46 and 60. Now, as pretty as Waipio Valley is, the next valley up ahead is even better, and we'll fly into that one. It's called the Waimanu, and it's inside Waimanu that we'll see the Big Island's tallest waterfalls. A little bit more turbulent air near the sea cliffs and in the valleys is normal, so just expect that and no worries. Think of it as a little extra thrill at no extra charge. It's all good.
It's one way or the other. It should be one direction. It could be on reflection. The turn I had just taken, the turn that I was making. I might be just beginning. I might be near the end.
So a series of increasingly tall waterfalls here in Waimanu. 1,200 feet at the entrance and 2,600 footers in the back. I'll be making some turns, of course, to show them out both sides. First one's called Wai'ilikahi.